Sharks visit our shores every summer. Now, some are fairly easy to spot and not too tricky to film. But other, smaller shark species come in big numbers too, and they can be really tough to catch on camera. Kinsale is a mecca for anglers. I'm teaming up with the local skipper, Butch Roberts, in the hope of filming blue sharks. Now, thousands of blues are still caught and butchered for their fins in the Atlantic every year. But thankfully around here, anglers catch, tag and release them in what must be one of the biggest projects of its kind in the world.
There's stuff in the water. Look at the seal here, just with its head.
Yeah. Having a look at this.
Yeah.
Lovely spot for fishing. I think it's going to be a changeable day, though.
I think so. It looks as though there's a bit of a breeze there somewhere.
Sun and showers. What's the idea of the mackerel, Butch?
Well, we're going to use them for bait, and we also use them for rubby-dubby, chop up. But a bit of fresh mackerel is always an ideal bait. The problem is outside at the moment, they're very scattered, and they're not that easy to find. We have some frozen stuff, but...
So you're making the excuses already?
No, stop.
How many years have you been fishing around here?
I started here in '85 with my first boat, so I think it's around 27 years now.
I hope you're better shark fisherman than mackerel fisherman, lads.
Well, it looks like the mackerel are thin on the ground today. It's just as well Butch came prepared. Now, he's originally from South Africa, and that's where he learned his skippering skills. But now he knows the Cork coast as well as anyone. It's his job to put anglers like Paul Dean in just the right spot. At this time of year, the blue sharks are going to be found further out to sea.
We start off in the beginning of the season when mackerel shoals are still well off. We go out about 11.5 miles, you can say, south of the lighthouse, out there to the Lusitania in that area. And we get a good result out there.
This area has produced lots of sharks recently, so hopefully we'll have a bit of luck today.
So, Butch, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Well, I'm going to get a bag of rubby-dubby over the side so we can set up our trail.
A trail which hopefully the sharks will swim through,
right.
pick up and follow.
That's right. They'll come into this corridor and they'll follow it up to the boat.
In theory. If you don't mind me saying, your boat doesn't smell too good.
And rubby-dubby is a bit radioactive. I want to lose my fingernails.
This is Butch's famous rubby-dubby.
Be careful. You won't be allowed home if you get involved with this. So it just dips in and out and it leaves a trail.
Irresistible, I'd have said.
Irresistible. Oh, I can get rid of these gloves now.
Lovely. Smell. Seriously bad, because Butch has had these fish sort of fermenting for several days. So the whole boat stinks, which is the idea, of course. And so hopefully, Butch will manage to catch a shark and we'll manage to get in the water and film them.
Now, once the base is being prepared, it's important that it's put right into the middle of the rubby-dubby. A balloon is used to keep it suspended at just the right level so it doesn't sink to the seabed.
So we just leave it open spool at this stage with just the ratchet on. When it goes off, we just let the shark run. And then once he's run a bit, you just engage the drag, wind until it lines as tight as possible, and then strike as hard as you can. So if the shark takes off, it'll be a prolonged...
You get straight out of Jaws.
Yeah.
It's slight bit of movement.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Bang.
You see, because what will happen is if we start drifting fast, the wave movement will take a bit now and again, but it won't be a prolonged action.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So that's how we know we've got something busy there.
Common dolphins, gannets, fin whales, but no sign of a shark.
It's be the start of the herring season now.
It's got to be.
That's what they call the fin whales further along the coast anyways, herring hogs, huh?
Yes. It's a whale of a tail.
It might be the only tale we'd have to tell here today.
I know, man. I'm going to take up golf if we don't get one soon.
time to test the underwater camera, just in case a shark does turn up. Now, maybe I've seen too many movies, but it's sort of an odd feeling to be swimming around in an oily slick that's supposed to attract sharks.
Are you all right there in the water?
I got another snorkel in there if you want to come in with me.
No, I'm allergic to water. I don't even have it in my whiskey.
Visibility's not great, but if there's a shark within 100 miles, they've got such an extraordinary sense of smell, sense of taste, that surely they'll be attracted to this. This really stinks.
I've got it. Yeah, grand.
And rubby-dubby, Butch.
It's good, isn't it?
I swallowed some of it.
I'll make you a cup of coffee and you won't taste it then.
Oh, I'll tell you. Oh, dear, that feels good. So, Butch, how do the tags work?
Right, these are the tags we're issued with. On one side there's a number, and on the other side it's the address, who to contact.
Fisheries Board, Ireland Reward.
That's right. Most of those tags would have been returned by commercial fishermen, but it's the recreational anglers in Ireland that have tagged them, and they'll send that back to Central Fisheries and they'll get a reward, and that way they can track them. This is a pamphlet showing where all the sharks have been caught all over the world, anywhere from Newfoundland, the Gulf of Mexico, South America, right up into the Med, and it gives you all the information.
Tell me, did anyone ever find any of the sharks that you tagged?
Most of them were caught down the Azores by Spanish longliners. But the best one was about 5 years ago. One of the sharks was caught in Newfoundland, and it had travelled that far. And I'm sure I'd only tagged it 18 months before. Wow. So he'd done a bit of travelling, that old shark. He's trying to get away from me, I suppose. that was impressive. I was well impressed with that. But it's fascinating to think they travel all this way, and they're a beautiful creature. And you know, the anglers get a buzz out of catching them. You know, it's nice. It's something different. You know.
So the potential for this sort of recreational fishing around here is...
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's one of the best areas in Europe. There's no doubt about it. You can speak to all the anglers. I mean, the variety and the quantity of fish. It's marvellous, absolutely. You wouldn't see the likes of it.
It'd be interesting to see that today. Never seen a blue shark in Irish waters.
Well, up to now they've been plentiful, but it's anybody's guess whether we get one.
Paul's keen anyway.
No, he's lucky. He might get a couple. Who knows?
I feel optimistic, Butch. Everyone's been telling me you're the man to find sharks with, so we'll have to see.
That.
Your reputation's on the line.
What'll be will be. We'll try anyway. We'll do our best.
I'm gonna have to wash my hands. Stink.
Got one.
Once you're in, pass it this
Time for me to get in the water. Try and avoid getting caught up in that line.
I don't know. I'd rather him than me. They're obviously not man-eaters, but they might just take a bite out of you just to test you.
Looks to be a reasonable size, but it's hard to tell.
He might run when he sees the boat. I think he's a big fish because he went deep straight away.
Bit of a struggle. Oh, look at that. To be honest, I prefer not to see them at the end of a hook. What a creature, what a beauty.
What's your Paul, if you just can grab the hook extractor there, the tagger and the tape measure, and we can get his measurements and get the hook out of this fella.
Now, the aim of the game is to get her unhooked and tagged as quickly as possible, because the less time she spends out of the water, the better.
About 30. See, once we've got his measurement, we can...
It's so good to know that these days they're actually going to go back safely.
1 metre, 630 centimetres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, they would have been allowed to just die on deck, but there's plenty of life left in her. She's away. I really hope she's never caught and turned into shark fin soup, and that she lives to be a ripe old age. Now, angling's not for me, but it was certainly an interesting day. Tomorrow, It's time for some cutting-edge science.